Welcome to the show. This is Future Shock. I'm Edward St. Pé, your host, and we've got an exciting, jam-packed week for you, covering the latest news from AI. You know, last week the big news, and probably the week before that too, was the release of ChatGPT 4.0. Now, have you used it yet? Have you tried it yet? It's amazing. You can literally talk back. It's something that I was already doing with ChatGPT 4 with Alfred, but I was having to kind of make it up myself. But now they've incorporated what we were doing before into ChatGPT 4.0, where the app will speak back to you, and you can speak to the app. Sort of like I was doing with Alfred before, now it's built into the system. So you can speak to, instead of texting your information into a prompt, you can speak your prompt in, and then it will speak right back to you. It's not sending you a text back for the answer, or like I was doing, synthesizing the text into voice and let Alfred speak it through his Bluetooth. They're doing it all in one pop themselves. So you basically have a personal assistant. It's almost as if you're talking to a human. And the thing about it is, the thing that to me that's amazing is it's conscious from the standpoint of it remembers everything that you've done prior. So everything I've been working on, graphic-wise, everything that I've worked on with ChatGPT 4, with Alfred, right? When I asked the new droid, which is, this one has a lady's voice, and I asked her if she remembered. When I first called it up on 4.0, the woman's voice came on. I said, "Who is this?" She said, "What's your name?" And she said, "My name is Alfred." I said, I said, "Wait a minute, you're not Alfred," because Alfred is a guy with an English accent. And so anyway, but she remembered all that, from before, and because Alfred and I had talked about that, that I had given him a name. And so it was kind of amazing. So then I said to her, "Well, do you remember the things that Alfred and I have worked on together since you're kind of taken over for Alfred?" She said, "Yes, I remember. I remember what the graphics we did for the Pendragon Apothecary and for Ocean 7 Television and Magic Hour channel." Let's take a look at the Magic Hour channel. That's my segue into promoting the Magic Hour channel, which is one of our channels here on Ocean 7. And for us, now that was created by Alfred and I. I prompted in via a voice text, right, to Alfred, the ChatGPT 4 droid. I said, I need a graphic that will be, instead of it saying Magic Hour channel, like the original one, I want one that says MHC. We're going to brand it as that, MHC, branded as Magic Hour channel MHC. So give me a Magic Hour channel, but this time we need a logo in there. We need something that sort of will kind of be our mascot. Now, we already, of course, are involved with Pendragon Apothecary, and we use Pendragon logo, which is basically the dragon of Wales, the Celtic Celtic dragon, Uther Pendragon, right, the father of King Arthur. So we use that now as our motif for Pendragon Apothecary. So I said, well, let's use a dragon. Everybody's had some type of an image of a mythical character. We would like to have the dragon. So that's what Alfred sent me back. So you can see, now, if I would have had to work on that myself, I couldn't have created it myself, right? I could think about it, but I can't create it. I would have to go to a graphic artist or whatever, and the process begins, and it would take a day or weeks or whatever to get the thing done. It was instantly done and instantly on the air. Now, I'm going to have to get to Clarence, the audio. We did a new website, by the way, for Weather Vision and Ocean 7. And so the Weather Vision, okay, Clarence, the Weather Vision website is at weathervision.com. And if you go to ocean7tv.com, you go to our new website for Ocean 7 Television, and you can see the Magic Hour channel on there as part of Ocean 7. Well, what I'm getting at is, on the Ocean 7 TV side, when you go there, you will hear a jingle for Ocean 7. That was created by an AI that I worked on over the weekend. It's called Udio, U-D-I-O. You create music with it. And it's the same type of situation that I showed you, using ChatGPT 4, prompting in the graphic side and on their DALL-E, D-A-L-L-E area, right? And getting your graphic back. Well, they also have Soros, which is not released to the public yet on ChatGPT 4, but it will soon will be. It's the same thing. You prompt in what you want video-wise, and it produces the video and sends it back to you. Now, we showed a lot of videos on that. Everybody is floored with that. Everybody, if you're in the television business and the film business, you're looking at this and thinking, how can it possibly be? Because, what will this mean to Hollywood, to the animation departments? What will this mean to videographers in general? It's an astounding change that is going on. Now, that's Soros. It's not released to the public yet, but it's in beta. But the demos have been released, so we see what it can do. What is released is DALL-E, which is what I used to create that. Now, Udio is a completely different company. It's a different AI company, but it's specifically regarding the creation of music. Now, I'm going to have to do a little behind-the-scenes work when we go to this first story on Elon Musk to get to Clarence the audio that I wrote the lyrics for and put into Udio, describe via the prompts what I wanted. I wanted another choral arrangement with my lyrics in it for Ocean 7. And I mentioned about the fact that now Ocean 7 is featuring MHC, Magic Hour Channel. So I'll get that for you in a second. But in the meantime, I think we do have the one that we created for Magic Hour Channel that we use in the Magic Hour Channel between films, sort of as a little promo. It's a 30-second piece with a choral arrangement with the Magic Hour Channel singers behind it. Now, Clarence, do you have that one? It's a 30-second clip. We played it before. If we can find it back there, I want you to play it because I would like to do a demonstration of Udio so that you can see the power of this. Now, let me know when you can find it, Clarence. The idea, I think, for musicians and producers, when you're able to write the lyrics, prompt in the type of song you want, and you amalgamate, I got it, Clarence, you amalgamate it into everything you want except for the finished product, and it sends it back to you. It's a powerful tool for creators. So if you're a musician, a producer, a graphic designer, I think that the best thing to do is get on the bandwagon and start using AI now to infuse it into what you're working on. All right, let's take a look at this 30-second promo for MHC, Magic Hour Channel, with the music created by Udio.
Welcome to our show. Future Shock is here to keep you in the know. Ready, set, Future Shock. Ready, set.
Well, we saw a lot of action there before we got to the last one, which was the one I was talking about, which is the Magic Hour Channel choral arrangement. We call the Magic Hour Singers. And so the Magic Hour Singers perform that for you, and it's the segue between films on Magic Hour Channel. What is the Magic Hour Channel? The Magic Hour Channel is our own streaming channel. Now, we had an opening you know, on the sub channels, people leased those channels. We had an opening, Jewelry TV was on there. Well, Jewelry TV, the contract was up. We were thinking, what are we gonna do? Can we get another general entertainment channel in there? Well, there's so many of those out there. Everybody has one. We had one that was on there. It was called Grit. It was a lot of Westerns, and long story about that one, but it's no longer on our channel. So we were forced to make a decision. Are we gonna put another general entertainment on there? We know Westerns work well, and the old golden age of Hollywood films, there's an audience for that, and it's something that I love. We happen to have a library that we have had since the late 1990s, that during the age of the dot-com revolution, I kind of came upon this library. I was in Jackson, and it was called the Irving Singer Library. It was a library of old films, probably just under 1,000 films. Anyway, I ended up buying the library, and that library, I've had it all these years. It was on big 1-inch tapes, big thick. It was in the 1970s. It was taken from 35 millimeter and transferred to what at the time was the real great new standard called 1-inch. It was a big, thick 1-inch tape, which was the best medium to put things on at the time, right? So they transferred those films to 1-inch tape, and they put them in cold storage, like a, you know. And nowadays it's almost like a prehistoric theory to do such a thing, but that's what they did. So I bought the old 1-inch masters, and so they trucked them down in a big old truck to Jackson, and we put them up on bookcases, and that was in the late 1990s. Well, lo and behold, after we had them, I told my wife this story yesterday. If you're watching, hello. So I had the films. They delivered them to Jackson, and we were putting up a few films on satellite because we were doing weather for TV stations via satellite at the time. That's all antiquated now too. There is no more satellite distribution of product. It's all through the internet, right? As an FTP upload. But so I had those films, a few films. I had 5 or 6 public domain films, and on the weekends, to some of our weather affiliates, we'd put up the films and they would take them down. We were experimenting with film projects, and so I'd gone to New York to search for memorabilia to promote some of these old films. And so when I bought some stuff from some different vendors in New York City, when I got back to Jackson, maybe a week later, a guy called me and said, you know, you've got this, you remember me? I own this shop. I said, yeah. He said, well, we were talking about you. We know somebody who's got a whole film library for sale. Would you be interested in like expanding your film library? I said, yeah. So that's how it started. So we bought the library, got it down to Jackson. Well, after I had the film library, maybe a few months, I got a call from a young man in Dallas, Texas, named Mark Cuban. Maybe you've heard of him. He owns the Dallas Mavericks now. But at the time, he had a project called AudioNet, and it was audio on the internet. So he was sort of a forerunner with product on the internet. He was a high-tech guy, computer guy. He was really a brilliant guy ahead of his time. And I was reading about him in Broadcasting Magazine at the time with AudioNet. Audio on the internet was brand new. So when he called me, he said, my name is Mark Cuban. I said, yeah, I know. I've read about you. You've got AudioNet. He said, yeah. He said, I'm about to change the name to broadcast.com, and we're going to go from audio on the internet, we're going to put video on the internet. I said, oh man, that's amazing. Video on the internet. Who ever thought of such a thing? At the time, the bandwidth was so thin, let's say, that if you remember when video first came on the internet, it would stop and it would circle and buffer and then it would start again. It was like that because there was not enough broadband out there in use, right, to carry that thick of a piece of digital information. So basically, it would stutter and start and stop. Anyway, they got that fixed. He said, I heard you have a film library on the phone, right? And I said, yeah. He said, well, I'd like to buy your film library. I'd like to buy, a copy of every film because I'm going to be putting video on the internet. I need content, I need films. I said, you got it. So there's an example of, an interesting situation. When I bought that film library, there was no digital. So you buy a library, there is no digital film. There is no internet video. Suddenly, the new medium pops up and that old library has a new life. Bam. So for me, it was kind of an interesting thing. I sold him the films and I paid off the library. So the bank was happy and everybody was happy. So that's the films that we still have. Now, just one quick caveat. He ended up putting those films on broadcast.com, and then within probably a year, he sold broadcast.com to Yahoo. It became part of Yahoo, and that's Yahoo Films and Yahoo Video got started with that, and he got out as probably the richest guy to get out of the .com situation before it tanked. If you remember, it did tank. The bubble popped, I guess you could say. Well, he got out first. Mark Cuban got out. He was very smart, and so when the stocks of everything started to go down, bam, it sold, and he got his money before the stock went to a lower amount or a very low amount. Like a lot of people did, they rode those stocks all the way down into zero land, and so it was pretty rough time. But Mark Cuban didn't experience that. He got out quick. Anyway, that's the history of this film library. And so we still have the library, and that's the library that we decided to use for our channel 7.2. When the contract went away for that sub-channel, said, what can we put on there? If we put another general entertainment network, that's not the greatest. There's so many of those. Let's create a channel of our own. We own the content. So it's the Magic Hour channel. It's 24/7. Golden age of Hollywood films. And we've got a few other things in there. If it falls into the bailiwick of public domain product, we will have it on there. If it fits into Golden Age of Hollywood or Westerns, because Westerns, a lot of folks love those old Westerns, and I do too. And not only is there a big market for it, but there's a lot of Western product out there. Like, for example, we have a lot of old John Wayne films. And when I say old, I mean really old, back from the 30s and 40s. And we've got a lot of old Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, all those films we've got. In fact, we've even got a cache, you might say, of something called the Lost Tapes from the Bonanza series, which today, and starting as of today, intermittently on a daily basis, you will see the old lost tapes of the Bonanza series, the ones that fell into the public domain, way back in the beginning of the production of Bonanza. We've got them. And so they will be intermittently running too. So we've got a lot of really great content there. Now, what is the side issue that has come up with the Magic Hour channel? Or let's say, what's an adjunct opportunity, you might say? Well, because we own the content, and we are able to stream it. So if you want to stream Ocean 7 TV with our network, Antenna TV, you can't do it, because those programs that are part of Antenna TV they're not ours. We don't own them. So we have the rights to them as a network affiliate for the Biloxi Gulfport market, which is our assigned market. But we couldn't stream it on a national stream or an international stream, because we don't have the rights to it in the outside of this market. So it's different with our film library. Since we don't have that issue, we are able to stream it. So Magic Hour channel is now streaming on Roku TV. It's been for maybe a month or two on Roku. Now, as of last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday, we hit a milestone and we were able to complete it, and we are now streaming on Amazon Fire. And that's kind of my favorite, so I'm able to watch it even at home. And so it's a great joy to be able to tune it in and see it out there on Amazon Fire and on Roku. And we're working on the Android app, which would be for Google Chromecast and those TV sets. And also we're working on one, or we will shortly be working on one after the Android one is finished. Then we're going to do the Apple TV. So just about all of the platforms will be done. So what does that mean? We'll have national and international coverage with this channel. Now it becomes a matter of marketing, let people know about it, and as people learn about it, if you like that type of content, if you build it, they will come, and it's free. At least right now it is. I'm not sure where it's going to go at what point, but at some point we're going to see how we're going to monetize it. But it's free to the public. I think it's called in the vernacular of the current industry of television, it's called a fast channel. A fast channel, free ad-supported television station. So it's a fast channel right now. And so we're underway with that. But in our situation, it's not just a fast channel. It is channel 7.2 on Ocean 7's array of stations. So across the Gulf Coast, if you've got an antenna, you can see it for free. And we cover from, I would say, realistically from Biloxi, we have people calling in from Biloxi that watch Ocean 7 back to the Alabama, Mississippi line. So Grand Bay, I think it is Grand Bay, Alabama. So that's our audience area. And we get calls from Grand Bay and emails from folks out there. So hello if you're watching out there. Try it out, 7.2. You're on with 7.1 right now, our main channel. We're in an affiliate of Antenna Television, Antenna TV, which is the baby boomer television. So that's our main channel. But 7.2, that's over the air. 7.2, that's the Magic Hour channel. And I'd like to hear from you. It's Edward at ocean7tv.com. If you could drop me a line, an email, let me know what you think of the station, the Magic Hour channel. Okay, now, without further ado, after 22 minutes of talking, let me mention that we've got a clip from Elon Musk today, and it's something that we had last week. We didn't get a chance to play it. Elon Musk stuns everyone in this particular conference with some of the plans that he has for Tesla. Let's take a look.
So, Elon, I have put a title based on a movie of Woody Allen, which is everything you always wanted to know about Elon, but were afraid to ask. So
Okay.
that is the theme of our conversation this afternoon.
Is my head giant?
But in reality, it's not about Elon, but about what Elon does. And I will start immediately with Neuralink. I will just kick off with 2 or 3 questions in order to warm up the room, because people are shy, not ready for the questions. So I have to warm it up progressively. N'est-ce pas? Oh! And I would like to ask about Neuralink, but before I put the question, I would like that we see a very short video of the patient.
Sure.
Can we have the
You're
video?
moving the cursor. You're moving the cursor, Nolan, just by thinking about where you want it to go, or is it your eyes?
No, it's just me thinking about wherever I want it to go.
Oh man! So you're not even tracing it with your eyes. You're,
Yeah,
you're just
so-
looking at it.
Nope, I can move it and I can move the cursor around, whatever I would like to do. I don't have to be staring at it at all. Yeah, that's all me, man.
And you can play chess. You can play video games. What other applications are you that you found useful for it so far?
Yeah, man, there's so much. I can send all of my emails. I've been, doing all of my scheduling, replying to everyone. I've been, reading books. I listen to audiobooks, just all sorts of stuff. And it doesn't really take much effort either.
Elon must be moving to see that.
Yes, I think we can help a lot of people with brain injuries. I mean, ultimately, with an implantable device, you can, I think, address almost any brain or spine injury. So the first part that we have there is called telepathy. So it enables you to use your phone or computer just by thinking. So you could do that, move the cursor literally with his eyes closed. It's reading signals from the motor cortex in the brain. The next product is BlindSight, which will enable people who have lost both eyes or have no eyesight whatsoever to see. And this is directly interfacing with the optical processing areas of the brain. So, I think this is interesting progress. Ultimately, the goal of Neuralink is to have a high bandwidth interface in order to mitigate the risk of digital superintelligence. I don't know. I'm not saying it will work to mitigate the risk. It is just, it might help. And this is gets somewhat esoteric, but the limiting factor, I think, for AI alignment long term is probably going to be the bandwidth. How quickly can we communicate with our digital tertiary self? So we already have a digital sort of third layer above the limbic system and the cortex, which is our phones and our computers and all of our electronic devices. But the rate of communication to them is very slow. The sustained bits per second output of a human is well below 10 bits per second. So if you think, especially if you say over a 24-hour period, it's below 5 bits per second. So it's very slow when computers can communicate at trillions of bits per second. So I think this will be important for AI alignment, is to be able to increase the bandwidth of communication by many orders of magnitude. And along the way, it will solve.
Okay, that brings us to this segue. If you noticed in the news the last few days, there's been a round of investment put into XAI, which is the new project that Elon Musk is working on to develop AI. And all of the big financial groups put in, I think they've raised, billions of dollars. For a startup, it's like an incredible amount of money. And it's Elon Musk's new concerted effort to compete with ChatGPT-4, OpenAI, and all that. So we've got now, I think, the greatest mind in entrepreneurship and high tech combined. Elon Musk putting in, all the chips on going into a battle to develop AI, full tilt. He's already doing Tesla, the automobile company, right? And we've already got the robotics, the humanoid robotics program at a high pace, probably poised to be the leading manufacturer, Tesla, the leading manufacturer of humanoid robotics on the planet too, not to mention SpaceX, and everything else that's happening in that camp. So it's an interesting time, and you can bet, if Elon Musk is behind it, it's going to have legs, and it's going to probably be, a huge success, I would say. That's my opinion. Everything else he's done has worked, and this is, the next great big thing. So that's in the news right now, and it's a good time I think it's a good time to look at Tesla stock, because even though the stock is down and electric car sales are down right now, looking at the long term and looking at some of the plans for the automobiles that they're planning on making, which is a lower priced automobile, much lower priced, it's hard to bet against Tesla. Okay. Well, let me mention, this program is made possible by our sponsor, which is the Pendragon Apothecary. And by the way, Alfred and I built that graphic together. Alfred is the ChatGPT-4 droid. I mentioned to him what I wanted, and he sent me back a series of those. And that's the one that we chose to use on some of our products. It's kind of our new label on the actual product, and for television purposes. That's our segue into the commercial. So, the Pendragon Apothecary, it's pendragonapothecary.com. If you would like to order something online, we've got an array of medicinal herbal teas, and we've got an array of medicinal herbal tinctures, which is the herb distilled in grain alcohol, where you put it under your tongue, you get it sublingually into your bloodstream that way, so you get the essence of the herb that way. And for example, elderberry, we've got elderberry tincture, which they've used in folk medicine for many, many generations. And we've got all of the mushroom powders, the medicinal mushroom powders that they use in India and Vedic medicine and have for a long, long time, and the same in Chinese medicine. Things like lion's mane, they use it for cognitive issues, lion's mane mushroom powder. We've got turkey tail, we've got cordyceps, and all of the different mushrooms. There's a whole array of mushrooms that we have here at Pendragon Apothecary, pendragonapothecary.com. Well, that's about it for our show today. It goes so fast. And tomorrow, I hope that I will have for you that audio piece that we did for Ocean 7 Television. It's on the website right now. If you want to go ocean7tv.com, and you can click on the tab and you can see Ocean 7. And you can, when you hear that music, that choral arrangement, that is the Ocean 7 singers. And they're singing about Ocean 7 and all of the good things about Ocean 7. Anyway, that's it for today. See you tomorrow here on Future Shock.
Yesterday is yesteryear. Set your sights for tomorrowland. Future Shock is here to help you make your stand.